And we're back. Jan, why don't you take us through your dashboard and show us what kind of data and reports you're able to gather from AppPulse Mobile.
No problem, Eric. So this is the screen that we log into every day as the application owner, and we go into either our iOS or our Android app. And from the high-level overview, it allows us to see the status of the Fundex Score, the UI response time, and how many users have crashes. And then it lets us go in on a level deeper and analyze the data. So here you can see what's called the Fundex Score. It's currently at a 95. So Alon, why don't you speak about the Fundex Score?
Yeah. So basically Fundex is a new concept that we just released to the market. This is basically one single score that represents the mobile user experience. So basically we are looking at different aspects of user experience, whether it's stability, how stable is my code, crashes, UI performance, how much time does it take to launch the app, how fast are the user actions, how much time does it take to do something on the screen. So we look at different aspects of mobile user experience, we aggregate all this data, and we provide it with one single score that allows you to improve the user experience by improving the Fundex, and as a result, you can have a 5-star app.
Yeah, so we actually saw a direct correlation between an increase in our Fundex score with an increase in app rankings in the App Store. So the Fundex score also allowed us to understand the UI performance and see which operating system the customers were running on that had a lower Fundex than others. So because Android is so fragmented, for example, we're able to go in here, and if we just want to see users that are running on Jelly Bean, we can drag those over and just see all of the devices that are using that operating system, what their response time is, as well as which ones need to be improved and focused on. What we do is we go in, and under the stability section, we are able to view the crashes, and we can actually see the steps taken to reproduce the crashes, what application version it was running. We could even see and go in on a level deeper to find out what device they were on and share the crash logs with our developers to then fix those crashes first, the ones that happen to the most people, so we can prioritize based on the end user experience, and then bringing that up measurably, which helps focus on app ratings at the end of the day. You want happy customers that will stay with you for a long time. So if there's more problems in one scenario and you have limited resources, you need to focus on the biggest problems first, and this is what highlights them and tells us how we can improve, measure, and focus the application to the right.
So Jan, I can see here names of screen and actions. Does it require any tagging or coding in order to get this into AppPulse Mobile?
No, and that's the beauty of this whole solution, is if we go into the user actions under the UI performance, we could actually see all of the tags that were automatically generated. We could either go by the highlighted ones, the ones that AppPulse Mobile thinks are the most interesting, or if we click on all, we're able to navigate through this and sort by how many times the action count was done. And in this scenario, we could see actionable data. For us, it was the registration page. We saw that by far most of the people were spending their time using registration, next button facilities. So we created a single sign-on as in the next update of our application, so that we can get users into the app much faster and be able to have them appreciate the application for more than just the registration page.
So take us back 5 months ago when you first started using HP AppPulse Mobile. What were some of the first discoveries that you were making in regard to the user experience, and then what actions did you take as a result?
So when we first implemented HP AppPulse Mobile in the beta, we saw that the user experience was hindered by the registration process. So most of our users were either having trouble registering because they selected a password that didn't comply with the policies, or they used their email address instead of their username. So certain things that we're able to see without them having to report them to us, and mitigate them by focusing our development roadmap based on the friction that was being caused by the application, and eliminate that friction through the use of this data analytics platform.
Now, after you identified these issues and then you made the changes, how long did it take before you started seeing your rating go up?
It was as soon as the update went live, you can measure in the Google Play Store the reviews based on which version of your application, and then you can see the incremental increase. It was like a 2-point jump in the ratings because all of the things that people would normally write a bad review about when they uninstall your application have been mitigated proactively instead of reactively.
Now tell me about your experience working with the developers. What is their response as you are beginning to show them these issues that AppPulse Mobile points out? What is their response in regard to this?
So their response has been tremendous. It's been a struggle all along to get an analytics platform at the heart of our application. We've tried almost every other solution out there, and with the manual tagging, we just didn't have the resources to be able to continuously keep track of every one of these functions, every one of these language pairs that is being kept track of automatically for us. So that's the response that we received from our developer teams. We were able to have a much smoother conversation. I'm the liaison between the customer and the developers, so I get to hear all the complaints, and now instead of me having to be the sole person that holds all of that knowledge, it's available for all of our developers to log in and see and then be able to take actions on that. We don't have to email the customer saying, oh, can you please tell us the steps you took to reproduce the crash? What did you expect to happen? What actually happened? We get all of this sent to us automatically on a daily basis, so before they have a chance to leave a negative review, it's already fixed in the next version.
Okay, so as we've been talking about the Fundex score, a lot of attention has been placed upon the performance and the availability. But we have another screen here that we can look at with the usage. Alon, can you tell us about the usage screen and what users of AppPulse Mobile will get out of that?
So basically, Eric, with the usage screen, we are basically providing visibility into how many users are working on your app. How many daily active users do I have in my app? I can see a trend. How many daily launches I have on my app? What is the average number of daily launches by user for every single user? What are the popular user actions? What are the most user actions that are being used by my users, so I can work and make sure that I know what is popular use case in my app, can work on this, focus on this, improve it, and make it the most usable use case possible, basically just because it's popular and most of my users are going through these use cases. So I can always focus as an application owner on those use cases that are being used the most by the customers.
And as a real world example to that, you can see here that out of 15 people that registered, only 8 of them completed the registration successfully. So that's actionable data that we know we need to fix, and by creating the single sign-on, that's going to resolve these issues. So without knowing this information, without collecting it at each step of the way automatically through AppPulse Mobile, we wouldn't have that data, and we wouldn't be able to have a continuously improving application like we do today.
So Alon, we've seen this demo. What makes AppPulse Mobile so different than any other solution on the market right now?
So first of all, Eric, you can get it up and running in 5 minutes. So the time to value is really fast. Second, it's codeless and tagless. No coding is required. We are automatically identifying and naming all the screens and all the actions. Third, Fundex, a new approach to how you measure user experience. Basically, Fundex is a single score that represents the user experience and looking at different aspects of user experience, aggregating everything to just one single score. Fourth, user actions. The way we measure user actions, as opposed to all the other guys in the market, they just do like network request. We basically measure the user action the way your eyeballs see, from the tap of a finger until the UI is completely loaded on your device. Okay? Fifth, when we capture a crash, we don't just say, here's the crash report, but we take the crash and we correlate the crash to the user action that led to the crash in a way that you can easily reproduce this in testing by understanding this is what the user did before the application crashed. So these are like the main key differentiators that makes AppPulse Mobile a leading solution on the market.
So Jan, thank you for showing us your dashboard. Now, how would you summarize the results that you've achieved from implementing HP AppPulse Mobile?
Sure. So the way that we structure our bonuses for our developers as well as for our employees is how well the users review our applications. So by being able to see measurable changes in each new version with the Fundex Score, with the AppPulse Mobile Analytics, with the ability to see that the user experience is improving with each build, that enabled the entire company to thrive as a whole, because then that led to higher reviews in the App Store, which led to more downloads, which led to more money in the bank, and that's what
I find it interesting that you're correlating the developer's bonus together with the Fundex score. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, because we try to incentivize our developers to build the best possible application, focusing on the customers, not focusing on the technology. So based on the app reviews that we get in the store, that's how their bonuses are structured internally, and we think by implementing AppPulse Mobile, it just aligned exactly with our vision and our goal to assess, plan, implement, measure, and improve.
So Alon, when we first began this discussion, we were talking about interpreting big data insights to make them meaningful and actionable. How would you correlate that to what we've been seeing here on AppPulse Mobile?
So basically what we can see here that SpeechTrans, Jan and his team were able to measure, focus, and improve in order to achieve a 5-star app. They measured, the true user experience, automatically identifying all the user actions and crashes, aggregating all this data into one single score, the Fundex Score. Basically keeping track on the Fundex Score, focusing on these user actions that are slow, on these users that are trying to launch the app and it's too slow, on these users that are using the app on iOS 7 but the application crashes. So all these things, all these insights were collected and gathered by AppPulse Mobile. All this data is being streamed into the big data platform, allowing Jan and his team to analyze this data, focus on what matters, on what needs to be improved and affecting the most users, and then providing the developers with the actionable data needed in order to improve these, and basically by that rolling out new versions that are basically improving the app reviews and the Fundex Score as a result.
All right, thank you Alon, thank you Jan. I think that wraps up the demo portion, and let's head back to the studio. So now we're back here in the studio, and I want to thank you, Jan, for showing us your dashboard for HP AppPulse Mobile. And before we say goodbye, I want to leave you with a call to action to go to the URL you see on the screen right now and download the HP AppPulse Mobile white paper. From there, you can take the next step and sign up for a 30-day free trial of AppPulse Mobile. We have videos that teach you how to wrap your mobile app with the HP AppPulse Mobile technology. You'll quickly gain meaningful insights and actionable data that will help you to improve your user experience and put you on the pathway to achieving a 5-star app rating. I'd like to thank you both for being here, and with that, I'd like to thank you for joining this mobile moment with HP AppPulse Mobile.